Good morning, Softball America. Happy Wednesday, September 24th. We are glad that you are here with us. Gray Robertson, Tara Henry. Good morning, Tara. How are you, my friend?
Good morning. I am fantastic. I am so excited about what we're going to talk about today, and I'm so excited for softball. I know we're far away, but all these commitment posts and the 2027 class, like I'm so excited I can't even say it, has been just really fun to watch and see where some of these athletes are going. And gosh, we've got some big statements being made by some programs that are pretty familiar across the country.
Oh, yeah. Big names are going. We've got some more we're going to talk about on this show because big names are playing at the Mary Nutter. The schedule is out for that event. That's something that we're going to cover. We also have a +1, I believe, Tara, coming on the show today. Would you like to reveal to the people who's joining us?
Yeah, we do have a +1. Kirk Walker is going to join us here in about, I think, 15 minutes. We're going to congratulate him on his retirement, but he's still working for us, and we'll be talking a lot about the Mary Nutter and the schedule. And I just really think it'd be cool for him to actually come on and speak about the Mary Nutter tournament and how the whole thing kind of started, because it's a pretty cool story. And as you well know, Gray, it's one of my, if not my favorite tournament of the year. And so just the announcements of the teams, the schedule, we'll get him on here to talk a little bit about some Mary Nutter news, and again, congratulate him on an incredible coaching career.
You know what my contribution might be? I might get the recipe. What's the sandwich called? The tri-tip?
Tri-tip? Yes.
Yeah. See if I can get our friend Kirk Walker to let that one out of the bag a little bit.
Oh, man. Those tri-tip sandwiches, they're right as you walk in, normally as you're getting into the fields. And when those things get cooking, and they are, whew, that's great for in the middle of the day when you've been watching a couple of games and you need a little bit of a break. But those things are legendary.
Yeah, I would like one at some point. Also, Rulebook Club is back this week. Scoring. Is it a hit? Is it an error? Well, let's let the rulebook help us decide.
I mean, I don't know about you, Gray, but I went through the whole scoring section. There is a lot. And I will say there is a lot of judgment given to the official score. So this is why it is so important that whoever is scoring the game understands the scoring section.
That's right. It's only 20 pages. Come on.
I know. I literally kept going through it. I'm like, wow, this is a long section on scoring. I said, this is actually really important. And again, for those of you that are with us, let us know where you're tuning in from, and we'll give you a shout out here on Good Morning Softball America. And if you're over on YouTube, please like this show, and make sure that if you're on Twitter to repost it, and again, and like the show.
Yeah, hit us up in the chat. I was about to get right there, so let's flash some comments. Fang was our first comment. What's up, pal? Mary Nutter schedule is out. OU rekindles a rivalry with Duke and Washington. We will get to that. We've got Chalinda popping in here. My burner. Good morning, everyone, from Grant Gray. James is here. Hello, James. Sarah is here. Annie is here. Grant is asking for more dancing. I think last week we got that out of the way. I'm good. Kevin is here. Good morning, Kevin. Where
Good
do you
morning.
want to start, Tara?
Well, we're gonna have Kirk here on here in I don't know, less than 10 minutes, so we can get into the nutter right before we go in there. But yeah, good morning, Fang. Good morning. Wow, I love this. Everybody's come like tuning in from all over.
Yeah, we got a lot of Oklahoma people. I guess we should talk about a couple 27s who've picked the Sooners. Last week we talked about Goose flying to Norman. Yesterday, as I check my Twitter notifications for Brady Vernon, which all of you should be following Brady and the
Yes.
Softball America account, and you
Yeah.
should hit that little bell so you get the notifications whenever Brady or the account retweet something, because at this point it'll probably be something related to recruiting. The number 3 overall recruit, the number 1 outfielder in America, Finley Williams, committed to Oklahoma yesterday. Riley Hilliard has committed to OU recently. More Sooners are coming out, and again, really packing this class for 27s.
Yeah, Emma Reynolds, like you said, Gray. I think the Finley Williams announcement was huge as well. The Goose announcement was big, but even I know we're talking about Oklahoma here. I don't know if you all caught the under 18s Team USA playing Oklahoma State last night. That was quite a statement. I saw a video of Aspen Bulware, who is our number 1 ranked recruit on Softball America, had a deep fly ball to center field, and just an incredible athlete. Again, I'm so excited for this class. I know they're 2027s, but yeah, OU again continues. Coach Gasso just continues to get top level talent. LSU's had a nice look at the recruiting cycle with 5 4-star recruits. Florida's got 4 4-star recruits. UCLA has 3 4-star recruits, 1 5-star as well, and then Texas A&M, Trisha Ford coming in, rounding out the top 5 in our team rankings. Again, that's all over on the website. So head on over to on3.com/softball to take a look at those team rankings as we start building those out. And again, give Brady Vernon a follow because he has got you covered, let me tell you. And I don't know if you guys are reading the recruiting notebooks, but those are my favorite pieces from the fall, and knowing where everybody's going, where they visited, where they've committed. And again, just what an exciting time to be a part of women's softball. An exciting time to be a part of women's sports.
I said this last week. My philosophy for many years was I'll find out who you are when you get on campus about all the sports. And now that I'm here with you people, I'm starting to follow not just the softball recruiting aspect. Like I went back and looked at the recruiting rankings a couple from last year, and I kind of did my own like ranking and kind of seeing how many of those kids went in the portal, trying to pop out a couple statistics here and there. But
Yep.
it's been fascinating watching all this play out and kind of hearing more and more about the intricacies of this process for these kids. A lot of these players are going all over the country. They're taking their visits, which we love to see. Go take your visits. Go enjoy a football game at a place over here on the East Coast and then a place over here on the West Coast and somewhere in the South. Like, do your thing. And watching it all unfold, there are still a lot of big names out there who have not made decisions yet. And, I look at a couple pitchers, Abby Ford, Kaylee Hodges, Addison DeRoche, Vivian Knott. Like there are still a lot of people we have not heard from yet. And it's going to be really interesting to see which teams can bag them and if anyone can double up on a couple key pitchers this year.
Yeah, and all those names that you mentioned, Gray, again, was out this summer watching a lot of travel ball and college coaches were swarming to watch all of those names that you just listed. And again, like you said, can they get one? Can you get two? I know Synergy, our friends and partners over at Synergy Sports, put up a clip of Vivian Knott, tall left-hander. I know we've talked about her at length, but if you haven't seen that clip, head on over to X and take a look at Synergy just breaking down some films, and you can see the college coaches in the background that are there to watch, that were there to watch. Not and again, this is the thing when you've got an arm like that, especially a lefty, and even when you're playing at the smaller fields, because this happened this year, that team were playing at this field, which I think I even posted a photo of. It was so dangerous. And a college coach actually got hit by a foul ball there. But when you've got, there's a point to this story. When you've got a lefty arm that is being recruited, the college coaches will go there. They will drive. They will make that trip. So it's so interesting because when you speak to athletes that say, oh, I want to be on this team because more college coaches are going to be there. Yes, I understand that. This is for club parents. But also, if you're on a team with a highly touted pitcher in the circle, college coaches are going to then show up to those games as well. So again, if you haven't seen film on Vivian Knott, we'll pull some more stuff for you guys that we've got from Synergy, just so you can get an idea of what these 2027s look like and what these college coaches are out recruiting day in and day out in the summer.
And just one quick little caveat on the team rankings, because I'm sure most people probably figured this out. I would hope so. It's clear. But in case you didn't know, if you have to have 3 commits to register in the rankings. So if you scroll down past 26, you got a lot of teams, Texas, Stanford, Alabama, Texas Tech, Florida State, who all have 2. You can, if you want, kind of see where the math would fit yourself, but it doesn't register into the team rankings until you get 3. So just want to make sure that was clear and put out there for the fans, because I'm sure, look, I know Grant's in here, and he pointed out that Florida State got a big catcher commitment. When shout out to the Florida State catcher pipeline, like this remains a very strong thing in this sport.
Yeah,
but
like
it's just commitment number 2. So not to be ranked as of yet, but still certainly possible in the very near future.
Yeah, our number 19th ranked Lena Ayala will be heading over to Florida State. And again, as they come available, we'll let you guys know, but you can take a look on the website. It's all there, right there for you. And again, just hats off to Brady Vernon, and he's tracking all this and making sure that you guys are just as excited as we are about the next talent heading into college.
Anything else on 27s before we go into the fun portion of the show?
No, I'm good.
Okay, then let's get right into it, because you said we had a +1 for this party this morning on Good Morning Softball America, and he is in the waiting room, and it's time to bring him in. You know him, my gosh, as the very long time like one of the faces of UCLA softball, just announced his retirement, instrumental in the Mary Nutter. He's been with the Talons. He's been with Team USA. He's done pretty much darn near everything you can in softball, whether it be college, pro, former head coach at Oregon State. Like everything is on the docket for this man, and he's entering the show now. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Kirk Walker is with us. Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Fantastic. We're excited to have you here, and I know Tara's really excited to chat with you.
Good morning, Kirko. First and foremost, congratulations on your retirement from coaching. We know that you're never going to be out of the game, because anybody that knows you knows how much you love this game and how much you love growing this game. But I don't know that hopefully everybody on this podcast understands your impact on our sport, not only on UCLA softball, but on the sport of softball. There are so many stories that Kirko has shared and has been a part of so many great teams, but most importantly in helping shape our next generation of women. And so I know that I'm completely indebted to you. I know that the sport of softball is. So I just wanted to first and foremost congratulate you on a long, successful, fun, and most importantly, just incredible supportive career for the women of our sport.
Wow. Thank you very much. It's an amazing way to wake up this morning, both of you, with those glowing honors. So thank you for talking about me that way. I really appreciate it.
And we won't say how long it was. What was it?
No, a long time.
I got it on you. I was like, oh, we could just
more than a few decades. So yeah.
But it was a part of UCLA under Sharon Backus and obviously Sue Inquist. And then I remember playing against Kirko when he was up at Oregon State, and those were some of the biggest battles of all time. But now, want to really talk about the Mary Nutter and exciting news that was announced, and the field that will be there, the teams, the matchups, partnerships. Kirk, I want to start with that. I want people to know, I know we've done this before, but how the Mary Nutter actually started and where the idea came from, because you were a huge part of that.
Yeah, I was at the time I was at Oregon State, as you talked about and mentioned, and obviously I grew up in Southern California and grew up playing men's fast pitch a little bit out in Palm Springs, and so I was well aware of it. I will say that while I was at Oregon State, we talked about having an all-star event with our head coaches group with the Pac-12, Pac-10 at the time, and so Palm Springs was kind of on my radar a little bit, but really, to be honest with you, there was two reasons why I really started the Mary Nutter, and back then it was just the Palm Springs Collegiate Classic. And the first one was obviously just to create a really showcase event where the top programs could be. But the second thing was, back then, we didn't have a lot of say with our scheduling and who we got to play and the matchups that we would have. And I always felt like one of the things that I started the event about was to help coaches, right? The elite coaches be able to have a say and a voice in kind of their preseason matchups, right? And their opportunity to how they build their schedule. So it's one of the things that I've taken great pride on was our ability to be able to give, and I still to this day, give all of the coaches a survey every year about who they want to play, who they don't want to play, who they're okay with playing, how many days they want to play, what time of the day they want to play. I really give them a lot of leeway. And then it's my goal to do the best I can to kind of create a schedule that fulfills as many of those requests as I can. And not everybody is understanding about some of the matchups, but it's been a great event. And I started it when like I said, I was at Oregon State. Oregon State was the sponsor of the event. UCLA was considered a co-host because they were in it every year. But I immediately reached out to obviously Sue at UCLA and Mike Candrea at Arizona. And at the time, Mike was coaching the Olympic team as well. And so 2 years prior, that first year to doing it, I got those two to commit, and Mike committed to bringing the Olympic team. I talked to Patty Gasso and Rhonda Revelle and, some of the other coaches that were great friends of mine, and just said, hey, I really think this could be a great opportunity to play in Southern California, amazing weather, and do something special. And I convinced my athletic director to take a risk on it and host an event 2,000 miles from campus. And it worked, and it was great. And it grew rapidly from, I think our first year was 16 teams, went to 20 teams, 24 teams, and then eventually got to, tried 32 teams and realized that was about as many as I could get. And so that's kind of where we've kind of landed, is right around, I'd like to have right around between 30 and 32 teams.
I want to know about the team selection, because every year you look at the Mary Nutter field and you've got, like you said, a healthy hodgepodge of some of the best programs, the highest ranked teams each and every year. And then also a lot of quote unquote local. I know California's a big state, but a local, group of California schools. How do you find that balance when you're putting together the field each and every year? And how early does all of that have to go down to make sure things are set for the upcoming season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it evolved over time, and I will say that in those first years, I really only focused on teams that were, I would say, in the top 40, and that was really the teams that I invited, and that was pretty much the window of teams. And I can remember John Rittman when he was at Stanford at the time. He would say, I'd say, come to the Mary Nutter next year, and he'd say, absolutely. He's like, I'll probably be 0-5, but it's going to be, a great test. And that was always John Rittman, even when he had a stacked and loaded team. because you literally could go into that tournament in the beginning and easily, come out 0-5 and still be a top 20 team because it was such a loaded field. What I learned over time is that I needed to have a little bit of balance, right? We needed to have those top ranked teams, needed to have those mid majors, and then let a few of those maybe smaller schools or schools from back east that maybe didn't have as much exposure, give them the opportunity. So it created a different dynamic around it when we went to that, and I think it's been great. I think we still have amazingly competitive games, but I think most teams can come in and have a little bit more balance rather than strictly a top 20 field of teams. So.
And you mentioned Team USA in the beginning and Coach Candrea bringing Team USA. This year, Team Japan will be at the Nutter and will play Texas Tech. How did that come about? And I think that's really, really exciting for the international game, as you well know. And I know that you love it too, Kirk, to have Team Japan there at the Mary.
Yeah, Team Japan's been a great friend of ours through the years. And yeah, I mean, I always love it when we can have Team USA. Sometimes we've had Team USA and a couple of pro teams. I think anytime we can do that, it really is truly incredible because as you know firsthand from your involvement with Team Britain or your England team, it is really an amazing game, the international game, and our ability to keep growing the game is important. Team Japan is, defending gold medalists. They're amazing. They're fantastic. Lucy Caceres has been a great kind of go-between there. I've known Lucy since she was a player at Arizona State. So it's been many, many decades I've known Lucy, and she's an amazing ambassador of the sport. And she really has gone over to Japan and really kind of become a great ambassador for them as well. And so, they reach out and they inquire all the time. So it's not every year that they're here, but it's certainly exciting to have them there. It can be a challenge. Not all the teams want to come in and play the Olympic gold medalist on top of playing, Oklahoma, UCLA, or Nebraska or somebody else. So some teams are open to it. Some teams are not. As I said, I let every team kind of give me the framework of what they're open to or what they're willing to do. And it was very cool this year that we had a number of teams that were very interested in it. So when Japan reached out and said, we'd like to come, my first response was, would always love to have you. Let me find out how many teams are willing to do it, because I don't want to make anybody play anybody that they don't want to. And after I got the surveys back, I said, yeah, absolutely. There's enough teams that I think we can get you, 5-6 games pretty easly and make it worthwhile for them. They want to play 9 games, and I'm like, I don't think I can get 9 games at the Nutter. But when I showed them the schedule, I could get them, and I believed I could get them. They were on board. So yeah, it's always cool to have that international flavor.
When you get these surveys back and you're thinking about what the schedule is going to look like, do you have in your mind, all right, I would love to put together these 2 teams, and then it happens? Like as you're putting together the schedule, are there kind of banger matchups that you're really hoping to get on paper that eventually pan out?
Well, of course, I'm a fan of the game as well. So, not only from a business standpoint, obviously those big matchups that you want to see, but from the season before, right? From the championships, whether it be from the College World Series or a big regional matchup or just traditional, big non-conference matchups. There's a ton of them, right? And so immediately I'm thinking about that when I'm getting confirmations that happen a year earlier. So even before we go into the postseason last year, I'm watching teams play and these matchups happen, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this could be a great Mary Nutter matchup. So yeah, it's constantly on my mind, and I'm a fan of the sport. I love the sport. I love the excitement of it. There are often times that I'm excited about a matchup and then it doesn't come to fruition because one or both coaches are wanting to maybe avoid that or they already have it on the schedule, or it's not something that they're wanting to do. But for the most part, I'm thinking about it year round.
And Kirk, you well know in terms of building a schedule and what it takes to build a schedule and how to balance a schedule, strength of schedule, your RPI, playing tough early, getting some games in. If you have a younger team, maybe get some early, easier games. Again, when we talk about this schedule, as you are putting it together as a coach, as somebody that knows the importance of it, when you look at this schedule this year, which team or teams are you most excited for this
Wow.
this year to watch?
I'm going to say one that I think is really exciting and really eager to see again going into this year is Nebraska. To me, again, I think Jordy Ball's senior year. Last year she did an amazing job. They had made an amazing run in our conference, which was cool to be in the conference with them. But I think the world of Jordy Ball. I think she's a special athlete, and they've got some people around her. They've brought in a few more players. I think they're going to be an exciting team to watch. So that's fun. There's always, I think anytime you see, teams like Oklahoma and UCLA, you always know what's it going to be this year? Who's going to be the one? Who's going to be those athletes to step up? So I think there's always an excitement around those two programs for sure, and you can't deny that. But I think Nebraska is one that I'm kind of excited about, and then Texas A&M. We don't get them every year, so Trish is really committed to coming pretty much every other year, or as much as she can. And so I'm excited for them coming again this year as well, because I think, again, they probably were a team that we all expected to see at the College World Series that didn't get there, and that happens. They're an exciting team, and they've got a fairly tough schedule. They're a team that Trish is a team that is a coach that's not afraid of competition, and as we all know. From not only the international game, but from her time at Texas A&M. So those are another ones that are pretty good. So I think there's quite a few. I could go on and on, because I think every team has a star. Every team has at least kind of a personality that they usually put out on the field. But one of the cool things about this event is that it's sometimes the first chance we see in the season, because it's week 3, where we start to see some of these big matchups. Occasionally they happen in those first 2 weeks, but more times than not, this is the first time that we kind of start to see what is UCLA going to look like? What is, Nebraska A&M, any of those teams, Auburn or any of those SEC schools that are coming. It's always exciting, because it's like, wow, this could be our first taste of what postseason in this year might look like. And to me, again, that's part of the whole draw and allure of this event, is that's looking at the front side of what potentially this season could be.
Kirk Walker is our guest here on Good Morning Softball America. I want to put up a question from the chat from our buddy Fang. If two teams from the same conference don't play in conference, are you open to scheduling them at the Nutter? And I'm curious, is that, the SEC schedule came out last week. Your schedule came out in the last few days. Is that something you're even able to consider at all because of the timing?
Yeah, it doesn't always happen. Timing is a key thing, but it certainly has happened. It's happened in the SEC several times. It's probably happened in the SEC more than in the other conference, because they've traditionally had like an East and a West, where they've actually had two kind of separate kind of schedules for the most part. So it's definitely happened there. I know in the past with Tennessee, I've done that before. So I couldn't tell you off the top of my head the specific matchups, but yeah, it can happen. And I will say last year it happened with Nebraska and UCLA. We knew that, and I knew that was going to be a big draw game. And I also knew, because we had our Big Ten schedule at the time, that we weren't going to face them in conference other than the conference tournament. But I said to Rhonda, I said, listen, are you open to doing this? And I said, Kelly, are you open to doing this? Because I truly believe that's a rivalry in that Big Ten conference that's going to be around for a while. And I wanted to kind of keep building it up, right? So the more times that those teams are battling on the field, the more we get that rivalry that in a new conference And I felt like that was a great way to kind of keep amplifying it. So we did that last year. So it certainly can happen. I will say in general, I generally will avoid it unless the teams are looking for it. But specifically in that case last year, I got on the phone with both of them and just said, hey, I'm thinking about this. What do you think? And they were both absolutely sounds great. We would love it. So.
I love that. Well, I want to switch gears, and last one for me, Gray, but in terms of not softball related, this is food related. I know that the tri-tip sandwiches are a huge draw at the Mary Nutter, but those that haven't experienced the Mary Nutter, and I say it every year, and Gray knows this, it is my favorite tournament. There's probably a little bit of nostalgia there for me, and I'm okay with that. I know I have a bias there, but what can fans expect when they go to the Mary Nutter, and food-wise, vendors-wise? What is that experience like, and how have you seen that grow throughout the years?
Yeah, I mean, it's really been a journey, right? I mean, we've have some vendors with us that have been with us from the day one, right? And that kind of stick into it. And so I think, besides the Rawlings and Eastons and the Worths and the Bonet and all of those, the product companies that you'll see, which is always great for our softball fans. And those vendors love it. Not only do those vendors love it, but they always are fighting after the key spot and location they can have. You would think because of crowd traffic, and yeah, that's for the reason, but many times so they can make sure they have eyes on the field, generally there for Wrigley. So it's kind of a fun time to have those vendors. But beyond that, Big League Dreams really oversees the food and the vendors there that come in. But we have, the ice cream stand, we have the taco stand, we've got obviously the tri-tip, which is a classic there. And it's very cool environment. I think we'll have some exciting things happen this year. Nothing that I can specifically share. We are in the works with a few things, I think, with some brands that might not be traditionally what you would see at a softball tournament. And so I'm hoping that those come to fruition. And we're actually working on that right now as we speak, trying to bring in a few new vendors that might create some cool energy around the event.
I love that you mentioned that, because I had a question about the business aspect of this as well, because, we've covered on this podcast, I'm sure you've discussed it with many of your coaching brethren, the changing landscape of college sports continues to force all of us to evolve in the way that we operate. So how does the Mary Nutter continue to evolve as budgets get a little crazier and NIL becomes more of a fixture, and all of that continues to cycle through the sport? How does the tournament keep on changing to keep up with the times?
Yeah, well, we're right in it. We're right in the evolution process, right? So I think there's a lot of things coming that will be different in 2 to 3 years. Certainly there are things that have evolved. This event always in the beginning, I will say what this event was in the beginning was really meant to be elevating all the programs that came. And I still believe that we do that. And I do take great pride in trying to elevate the teams that come in. But, early on, I created some business models to try and help teams pay for their trip out there, and, tried to create a situation where there was ticket sales and ticket guarantees for the programs to try and sell tickets and get percentages of tickets. And, I some of it worked and some of it didn't. I think that landscape was different 20 years ago when I tried that. I do think that, we went to a few years ago where we were utilizing players that were on current roster teams and hired them to, do social media posts, right? Whether it be Tiara Jennings was one, obviously in the beginning, where we knew like this is somebody that has a high following, and can we give back to this athlete, and hire them to be able to do some social media stuff for us. So that was a new evolving space, right, a few years ago. And I think that's going to continue to kind of happen. I will say as a business person, it's a little scary about what it could get to, but we're a small company that really focuses on the game, and I'm hoping that we're not going to be pushed out of the market in the future because we can't compete with some of the business plans that happen for these programs. But for now, I know that a lot of the teams love this event. They love the location, and it's something they look forward to, and their teams look forward to every year. So hopefully we can keep doing that and keep those top teams coming.
I've got one more before we let you go. I know that you announced your, again, Terry used quotes, so I will as well, retirement from UCLA. But are there any memories from your times with the Bruins that you want to share that maybe the world doesn't know about? And are you still going to be a frequent face around Easton Stadium watching games and all that jazz?
Well, first of all, absolutely. I mean, I'm an alumni. I was, part of that program for, over 2 decades. And that's obviously home to me. So I don't live far away. I've already been back to campus for the first day of practice last week and made an appearance. So yeah, I will definitely be around. I will definitely be at a lot of those home games. And I'll make a few appearances probably at some practices as well. But yeah, I absolutely will be around. Memories, wow. It's, I think back, it's about the people, to be honest with you. The memories that I have, I mean, there's been some incredible games. Literally my freshman year, we played Texas A&M in the national championship, and we went, 25 innings. It was insane with Debbie Doom, and finally ended on a Trish Mang home run. And so I have the memories of all of those championships from, being in Omaha, right? Being a part of the championships in Omaha, moving to Sunnyvale for those 2 championships there that UCLA won back to back. And then our first years in Oklahoma. So I've been very fortunate to be part of a lot of successful teams that won championships in all 3 of the venues that have hosted the College World Series. So those memories are pretty amazing, but really it's about the people. It's about the athletes. Some of the athletes that are some of my closest friends that I still am close with, that are family. And so obviously Sharon and Sue, Kelly and Lisa, are 4 of the people that are so near and dear to my heart that, there's really no separation as long as I can have a memory, they will be a big part of it for sure.
Amazing. Well, Kirk Walker, we love you. Thank you for joining us. 22nd annual Mary Nutter is coming up this February 19th through 22nd. I will be there. I'm calling it. I'm going to be there this year. So I'll be out in Palm Springs.
Will you ship me a sandwich, Tara, please?
Well, you just got to get Alabama to come on out there.
Murph.
Yeah, let's go. Come on, Murph.
Right. Talk to Murph, and then you can have a tri-tip.
I'll see what I can do. I don't have any power, but I'll see what I can do.
Yeah. Tickets are going to go on sale in October. Anything else, Kirk, that the people need to know about the Mary Nutter? Anything other than tickets, I believe, are going on sale in October.
Yeah, look for tickets to go on sale. Obviously, I know that Wrigley Field, those prime seats really get scooped up. But I think there's always a great seat in the house because we have that hillside. We've got the outfield. I think it's a great place to come spend a weekend. Certainly, if you can only make a day trip, make a full day of it, because there's going to be just amazing games from literally the first games on Thursday till the final game with Team Japan. So it's going to be an awesome year. I'm super excited because of the teams that are coming. And for me, it's a great event because I get to see a lot of my close friends on the other teams. But for this generation to come out and see these elite athletes, it is super exciting. And there are so many athletes that have played, icons that have played, and Maya Brady talks about this all the time, and I love it, that literally she grew up coming to the Mary Nutter, and that was one of her first exposures of that high-level college ball. And Tiara Jennings and all of those athletes talk about it all the time. That so those kids that are coming to watch those games, parents that are coming to sit there, are very likely to be sitting in one of those dugouts in the future years. And so, yeah, get out there, enjoy the games, and have a great time.
I love it. The legend, Kirk Walker. Thanks for joining us. There you have it. Look,
Awesome.
I will say it's too late for me to get on the schedule for the Nutter this year, but you can still send me the like FedEx. I'm sure is fine with it. You know what? Like Omaha Steaks, they ship steaks all across the country. Surely we can find some sort of way to send me the sandwich.
No, I think you just need to talk to Murph and get Alabama out there.
I would like to go, although I would have to drive, but it's fine.
Hey, you'd be all right.
Cover that. Look, Tom and I have a lot of pod, so we listen to it. It's all right. That was great. Thank you to Coach Walker for hopping on with us. That was awesome.
I know. I just don't think how people understand his impact on the sport and all that he's brought to women's softball. And he's been around and seen how it's changed and where we're at now. And Mary Nutter, if you haven't been, I really do encourage you to go to it because it's got that old time feel of being at a ballpark all day long and hanging out. You can sit on the lawn down the right field line. You can go out into the bleachers. There's just so much you can do. And it is, to me, still one of the most pure tournaments that we still have.
Can we dig into the schedule a little bit more? Just a hair, because there are some things I really want to talk about. A couple bangers. I've said that like 5 times. But the Sunday matinee matches on Wrigley Field.
Yes.
Washington, Oklahoma, and UCLA, Texas A&M. Yes, yeah. Please.
9 a.m. That starts at 9 a.m. on Sunday. And then look at on Yankee, Cal and Nebraska are going to play.
Fun. And, from a strategic standpoint, one would assume that Nebraska is going to throw Jordy against Texas A&M on Saturday at 5:00. So they've got the Seattle game right before. That's a lot of games in a very short window for the Huskers. The pitching plan there, not to talk pitching plans 5 months before the games are played, but that's an interesting little wrinkle that I think could give Cal a real opportunity to get a marquee win right there.
Yeah, and again, this is our first kind of real look at what the Cal Bears look like under Coach Steve Singleton. And their schedule, they will play, I'm just taking a look, they will play Oklahoma the day before on Wrigley at 12:30. And they have Fresno State, Nevada. I think that's where they start on Friday. They start with Fresno State and Nevada, and then we'll play OU the next day. Is that their only game on Saturday?
I'm looking. Yes, that's it for Saturday.
Yeah.
Can we bring up Auburn?
Yeah, sure.
So I'm just looking at Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
They start 10 a.m. I assume that's Pacific time.
Yeah,
which means body clocks. We'll see when the Malvos decide to get out there. 10 a.m. against Oregon, a team that I am very high on for 2026. And then 3:00, a matchup with UCLA, a team that I am not as high on as Oregon, but who's always good. That is a very difficult first day for the Auburn Tigers.
Yeah, and just if you guys take a look at the schedule, I know it's up on social, but even on the website, that first Thursday, like Kirk wasn't kidding. It starts with Oregon, Auburn, like you just talked about, Gray. Oregon, Texas A&M, UCLA, Auburn, Oklahoma, Fullerton, and then Oklahoma, San Diego State, all on Wrigley. That's on Thursday.
Yeah.
And like Fullerton and San Diego State, they're sneaky. Like those are sneaky West Coast teams that have potential, upset potential. Now, when you take a look at Oklahoma's roster, which we'll get into as we get close to the season, I mean, just reloaded there. But I'm just saying that first day on Thursday, Auburn, what a tough start. I'm not so worried about the time change because 10 o'clock there is what, 1 o'clock?
That'd be noon. But I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I felt like it affected Florida a couple years ago, so sometimes it does.
You think? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, when they got like shellacked by Megan Faramo.
They have wasn't their travel late? Didn't they get in late?
Yeah, they got in like that day and then played at 9 o'clock, and I think got no hit.
Yeah, well. So
I don't know. You never know. Something you have to consider.
Yeah, but that is Thursday, so hopefully they're traveling Wednesday or Tuesday.
But to your point about Fullerton, their whole thing at the Judy and at the Nutter, They always seem to get an SEC team every year. So I'm always looking who are they playing. You mentioned they've got OU. They also play Auburn on Saturday. And I'm not sure if I miss any others, but Fullerton is always one to keep an eye on because it feels like every year at one of those two tournaments, they get somebody in the Southeastern Conference. So we'll see if they can do that this year.
Yeah, sorry, you guys. I know that you're saying my mic is low. I'll try and be louder. We continue to have some mic issues with me. So apologies if you can't hear me. I will try and be a little bit louder on here. I see you guys though. Fang, Duke versus A&M is going to be a good matchup too. But that's Thursday. Anything else on Thursday, Gray, that you have? I mean, again, Texas Tech, Team Japan. I think that will be a really fun one to take a look at. And then Duke, Texas A&M as well.
Yeah.
So that Thursday slate is tough.
Thursday is superb. South Carolina, Washington is fun. I'll tell you what, the South Carolina slate interests me as a whole. Again, this is a South Carolina team that I don't necessarily know what I'm going to get. I still feel like I'm collecting information, which is how I felt last year. Last year, it panned out. All the transfers from Charlotte made big splashes. This year, they've lost some folks. They brought in a lot of kids from the portal. It's going to be how it all meshes. This is one of those trips where I feel like it's going to provide a window into that meshing and how it's going, because you got to go all the way out west. You got a really tough slate. We're going to learn a lot about South Carolina in this event with Washington. They've got, as I pull up, Oregon, Nebraska. I mean, South Carolina's got a slate here, a very, very tough slate that will tell us, I think, a good bit about this team.
And a rematch with UCLA, super regional rematch. So from a season ago, and I think Kirk was talking a little bit about that. They'll play UCLA on Saturday at 5:30 on Wrigley. And so I agree with you, Gray, but I do think South Carolina, I do think Coach Ashley Chastain Woodard does a nice job of bringing all those pieces together. And I think with some programs, it's difficult when you add in a huge amount of transfers or a large freshman class, but that staff seems to get those athletes to get along, to play with one another, and they coach them up. And so I do think this is a good test for the Gamecocks. But again, I think we're only going to see that program get better. And this is a good trip for them to really test them. I agree with you, Gray. I think it's a good thing and a good barometer as to what we're going to see heading into SEC play.
Yeah. And last thing here, we got a lot of teams double dipping, a lot of teams going to Clearwater the week before and then going out to the Nutter. Tell me if I missed anybody. A&M, Texas Tech, UCLA, Nebraska, and is that it? And Duke as well. So that's 5 double dip teams who are going to be really reaping the non-conference strength of schedule benefits from playing in Clearwater and then also playing in the Mary Nutter, because those teams didn't exactly get soft draws out in California as well.
Well, and I think we're seeing in both, I know this when looking at UCLA's schedule. I know that it was a tough turnaround for them to go all the way to Florida and then come back for the Mary Nutter. But in terms of strength of schedule, in terms of playing for RPI, heading into the Big Ten, it's a lot different than being in the Pac. And we saw that last year. And so I do truly believe that some of these programs are going to have to play a pre-conference schedule to make sure that when they get into conference, they put enough in the bank to ultimately get that top 16 seed, which they're going after.
But not only that, now that we're considering 1 through 32 as well, you might not have a host resume, but you win that one game against a Big 12 team at the Mary Nutter, that can be the difference between you opening at the 1, 2, 3, and 4 seed or being, being 1, 2, 3, and 4 in regionals, or maybe getting an easier draw that first round. So again, it's all going to be super impactful. And don't think, if you aren't playing a marquee matchup, that team or that game isn't as important, because we saw last year some teams drop some games in the non-conference to sub 100 teams, the occasional sub 200 team, and that's why they didn't host. So every game matters, and all in all, this is a great slate. I'm very excited for the Nutter. Softball, man, the Februaries in softball just continue to go upward. I mean, we get great opening weekends. Teams are starting to travel to not just these tournaments, but on the road in these road raucous environments. Get some really, really high profile matchups each and every year in February. It's really, really fun.
Well, and when you talk about that, Gray, I think I just saw the graphic for or the NFCA Leadoff Classic, and Oregon's going to have a tough start to the season. I'm just pulling up what the complete schedule is, but we've got the NFCA Leadoff Classic, which Clemson, Penn State, Missouri, Southeastern Louisiana, Tennessee.
Don't sleep on the Lions, y'all.
Auburn is there. Liberty. That's week 1. Am I missing anybody? Who else am I missing?
Don't believe so.
That's week 1 of the season. Like, that is incredible. And then we've got Clearwater, which you just announced all those teams. I don't
that schedule should be out soon, by the way. Usually they drop it in mid-October.
Which includes Duke, JMU, FAU, LSU, Florida State, Missouri, Georgia, NC State, Nebraska, Texas A&M, Northwestern, Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, UCF, Tennessee, UCLA.
Can I ask you a question, an opinion question?
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to put you in Meg Aronowitz's shoes. Let's say you're deciding the Clearwater primetime matchup. Which are you putting on the slate for that ESPN time slot on Sunday? That's Sunday, right?
The tournament schedule is out, isn't it? No, this is
not yet.
Okay, hold on.
I think it has to be.
I don't know if people will play Tech.
That's part of the problem. You know, I'm seeing some questions in the chat about that. That's a whole other kit and caboodle that I'm not sure I'm ready to dive into in minute 50 of this podcast. But all things created equal, a Florida State Texas Tech Supers rematch in primetime would be a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely. I love that. If they can make it happen, I think Meg's got a tough job, but or it's actually going to probably be Nick too. But I think you've got to put Texas Tech in that primetime spot. I don't know who's going to be willing to play them, because we have heard whispers about them having scheduling conflicts with some teams. So
I believe it.
Is it Tennessee? Could we see a Carlin Pickens versus Nyjah Kennedy? I'm kind of into that.
Ooh.
That's what I mean. Texas A&M would be also another
Nyjah UCLA clash. I mean, shoot, we've seen that many, many times. It would be, I think, logistically tough for some of the double dippers who have to get out to the Nutter pretty quick to play that late Sunday game. But you never know.
Yeah. My gut in looking at this would be Carlin Pickens versus Nyjah. Tennessee versus Tech.
That would be a great choice. I think logistically it's probably going to be something along the lines of Florida State, Tennessee. But again,
you asked me if my favorite one, not logistically.
Yeah, no, you're right. You know what? I own that. That's fair. Also, yeah, to the chat, Texas Tech is on the do not play list for Tennessee.
Just ask which one I would want.
I'm just saying, that's gotta be, it would be interesting, the made for TV-ness. You mentioned Nyjah versus Carlin Pickens. That is not the only matchup we would be watching on that field. Let me tell you. So if both teams agree, let's do it. But there's no shot.
You just asked me if I was in Meg Aronowitz's shoes, which matchup I would want for TV. That is the matchup. And you know what? They should do it.
We'll see. I would be stunned if Coach Weekly said yes.
Well, a girl can wish.
We love dreams. Also, Any other thoughts on the Nutter
No, but I
before
don't know if we're
we?
going to be able to get into scoring.
I know. I was thinking
Scoring
about
next
that.
week.
I was thinking. Well, problem is I'm out of town next week.
Well, we're just going to maybe have to push scoring.
Yeah.
Maybe another day this week.
Here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do right now. I want everyone in the chat, if you have specific, because look, the scoring pages
It is long.
we got 20 pages up in here. So if you have any specific scoring questions, send them to us now. I will mark them down and we will get to them at a later time. I apologize for running long on the scheduled discussion, but you know what? It's Gray and Tara gathered together. You never know what's going to happen. So if you have any specific scoring questions, please put them in the chat right now. We will write them down. We will have them set. Again, that's pages 141 to 161. Do you want to give a little teaser, Tara? You said you read through the whole thing. What was the most interesting thing that you're ready to talk about when we eventually get to this portion of the Rule Book Club?
I just think that the onus on whoever is scoring is really important. And again, it's up to the scorer on a lot of these scoring, whether it be a base hit or an error, which I think is the one that we see the most. Let me see what on my notes here. It's, again, we say this every year. It is so important that we, including ourselves, go through this and educate those that are doing the scoring. Because I have personally seen, and I don't know if you've seen this, Gray, I have seen mostly hit and errors get changed by a coach on the field.
And sometimes I have seen coaches ask, and that
ask nicely or
say, hey, that's an error, and the response be, it's not. Sometimes. I will also say, as an official scorer in the FGCL, I learned how hard this could be. Shout out to anyone watching, we had a no-hitter controversy. You remember this. I sent it in the group chat where there was a bunt that I believed was an error. I sent it to 12 people. I think 4 responded that it was a hit. I ruled it an error. 8 responded error. So I felt, all right, good about my stance. And then the pitcher inevitably, of course, ended up throwing a no-hitter. So a lot of these decisions can be really, really important to the careers of some of these players. That's a summer league game. You know, no hitters in the summer league are fun and cool, but you never know what decision in the third inning might really, really impact what happens at the very, very end and how historic that matchup might be or that performance might be.
Yeah. And I just think that it should be independent. That's my only, and I know that we don't have the money for it, and I get that and I understand that. But I just don't think that it should be anybody that is affiliated with either of the teams. That's my personal opinion. Because I just think it would be a lot more fair to have just an independent scorer scoring the game.
I think that's on the schools. Honestly, I'll shout out Nate, SID Nate. Like, he does a really good job. If he has questions, sometimes he'll pop in and ask Tom and me, and they have the conversations in the room. It's very much like a situation. There are some schools that I am 98% confident it is not like that, and they do kind of cater it a little bit. And I'm not saying Nate's track record is 100% because it's probably not. That's impossible. He's a human being. But you're right. There are, I think the onus is on the schools to make sure that they get the right people for that, as opposed to kind of yes men who, want to make that fielding percentage look really good.
It's tough, though. It's tough, especially if there's their job or their livelihood, and you've got an athlete that's up for an All-American award, and
right.
It's tough. And listen, I get it. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying it would it would be more fair to the game if we just had an independent scorer, full stop. But is it realistic? No, I know it's not. But at some point, I know that I've seen it go both ways. And, you've got whoever's the home scorer has final say. And I get that. That's a home field advantage. Do I love it? No, but that's just how it is.
The other thing I will say, every decision has an impact on something statistically. If you don't rule that an error, you're putting the ERA in jeopardy. If you do rule that an error, you're putting the fielding percentage in jeopardy. The batting average is always being discussed. So if you think you're saving one thing as an official score, you're hurting something else. That's kind of how all this works. Just putting that out there.
Yeah. I think we have one question in the chat.
Do we want to do it now, or do we want to?
Oh, we can save them for next week. Yeah.
Yeah, because I see Fang's question. I mean, we can hold and do something next Tuesday.
This is like a full, like we've got to go through a lot. And
yeah.
And then I think Fang's question and a lot of questions, I want to define what it actually says as a hit, what actually says it's an error, and actually go through each section because I think it's important. Oh, and my light's off, so we must have to go. An hour.
Not bad. Shout out to Kirk Walker. That was really fun.
Yeah, that was fun. He's so great.
Do you think, before we go, anything else is going to happen before we gather together? We're probably going to have to do it on Tuesday, just as we schedule the pod on the pod, because Wednesday I'm driving to Texas. But what do you think is going to happen in the next 6 days?
I don't know. We might have some major commitments from some athletes. I don't know. Maybe not. We'll see.
I'll tell you what, what's not going to happen? Gray makes another bet about a football game because the Tide has one this weekend that's very important, and I'll be talking about it on post-game. Listen in, Crimson Tide Sports Network. I'm not going to back myself into a corner where I need any dancing shoes or any other type of footwear. So just saying.
Okay, we're going to work on your tap dancing. I'm bringing some tap shoes.
Where?
I'm bringing them to Tuscaloosa. I'm bringing some tap shoes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, the Junior World Cup will be happening.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, and 18U versus OU is happening, what, tonight?
Yeah, I think it's tonight. Yeah. I don't know that it's streamed, though.
Probably not.
I would guess not.
I understand that OU kind of cornered the market on streaming fall ball. 99% everybody else not streaming fall ball. And shout out to the people who ask why on Facebook. It's because rules don't matter. In fall ball, you might have the same girl pinch run 6 times in an inning. It's, that's why it's not happening. So,
yeah,
it would be impossible to cover unless you just did like one camera with no explanation, because oftentimes we don't get an explanation during fall ball.
Yeah, get in there, Fang. Fang's going to go.
Report back.
Yeah, let us know, Fang. Can you report for us?
There are enough nooks and crannies at Love Stadium. I feel like you can get in and hide. Found a couple when I was there for Supers. Beautiful facility. Lots of hallways. All right. Thank you to Kirk Walker for joining us on Good Morning Softball America. The Mary Nutter, always a lot of fun. The schedule is out. Go check it out. Brady's got an article on the site, 6 must-see games. If you want the entire schedule, MaryNutterClassic.com. Tara, what else is on the site right now before we go?
Oh, we are in the thick of our recruiting announcement commitments. And again, all of those rankings are up on the site. We do have our rankings schedule that will be able to get you just updated on who we're taking a look at, our 2028s, our 2029s. We're going to re-rank again our 2025 class in December. So our final re-rank, those are the athletes that you're going to see in the spring. So just a lot of rankings up on the site, commitment posts. Again, Mary Nutter. We've got the podcast up. We'll start doing some more interviews for you all. Let us know what you'd like to hear, who you'd like us to have on the podcast, because again, we're here for you. So please let us know who you'd like as a guest, and we'll try and get them on here.
Yeah, I'm open to all things. Does anyone know Selena Gomez? We can get Selena Gomez, Steve Martin, and Martin Short on this pod.
I still haven't watched last night's episode.
That's fine. I mean, it's good. It's good. You should do that after we're done here. But
yeah,
that's only Murders in the Building for those curious.
We just finished Black Rabbit.
Ooh, I haven't started that yet. Worth it?
Yeah, it's good.
I watched Superman last night for the first time. The new one. It was fine. Yeah. It was good. Yeah. Oh. Anyway, many thanks to everyone in the chat for popping in and hanging out with us. For my partner, Tara Henry, and our guest, Kirk Walker, and all of you who tune in and comment and send us all the thoughts and considerations that you have. we say thank you. I'm Gray Robertson. This has been Good Morning Softball America. We will catch all of you next time and next week with scoring in the new edition of the Rulebook Club.